this, you just got to know, don't be surprised if this turns me completely off. Because even the way you're talking about it right now, it's so matter of fact, and it's kind of like, well, you know, he didn't do this, he didn't do that, and my family is this, my family is that. You know, have you ever tested positive on a pregnancy test?
Of course.
Of course? I don't. What do you mean, of course?
Well, I have when I was younger.
Okay. Did you terminate?
No, it didn't.
How are you?
Hi. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. How old are you?
I am 32.
32.
Danger zone. Yes.
So, what do we got going on, ma'am? Are you ready to shoot your shot for your man? Are you a shot shooter?
Straight from the hip. Yes, I am.
All right. So I don't know, what outcome do you want? Are you unmarried?
I am unmarried. I got married a few years ago, but it didn't work out because he couldn't have children anymore, and he was unaware of that. So I immediately divorced him because children was the outcome that I wanted to have. It is what it is. It is what it is. It was terrible, but like I told him from the beginning, I got married so we could have children, and then he found out he couldn't have children after we got married. So it was kind of ruthless, but so now
So you guys got married. He didn't know that he couldn't have kids until afterwards. So he didn't have any vasectomy or anything like that. It was determined after. So he thought that he was fertile or able to prior to. But afterwards, and then you immediately divorce him. So much for vows, but anyway, let's continue.
Am actively looking.
I got one question. I gotta ask
this. What?
Are you a religious person? A Christian or anything?
Yes, I am.
So
my heart's beating so fast right now.
So in all seriousness, do you want to be handled like that by your spouse?
I don't, but when I met him, I told him that, because I waited really long. I believed in the hype when I was younger, not to have kids and early on in my early 20s. I believed that hype. When older women told me that, I believed it.
You divorced your husband because through no fault of his own, he could not reproduce.
And why is she laughing? She really laughing and shit. Was you laughing at your divorce? Here's these motherfucking papers, sign these motherfuckers. You can't shoot the club up. You're shooting blanks. He watching this probably
Well, yeah, and then, but it wasn't, there was a little bit more into...
No, that's not, we don't do.
But that I'm not going to lie. It is what it is.
Okay,
it was wrong.
So you got to, as a man out here on the market, I'm going to tell you what most men here...
I know, it's terrible.
Most men are men, I'm going to be honest, I tell men to avoid women like you.
I know it was terrible, Mr. Samuels, but he was older than me, and he already had 3 kids.
Ma'am.
None.
There is no way you can make this any better.
I know.
Because you said it is what it is. You're saying that now because you're on in front of everybody. But I'm telling you, you don't want someone to handle you this way.
I know.
Then why was it okay? I'm curious because just a few days ago, I had a 27-year-old woman on here actively talking about leaving her husband to go try to get back with her ex-boyfriend because he had more money.
Shout out to Jen. Yo, it's nothing new under the sun, but I get it. Like this woman right here is just cheesing her ass off, and I would like to know I mean, not that it matters really to her or anyone else. It's just the fact that baby, you had vows with this man, but what was the reason? Unless he had an accident, because we can go well into the day that we leave this earth, being able to reproduce, being fertile and not being sterile. So, wow. She said there was more to it, but that's the basically the reason why.
Just listened to that tonight, and that disturbed me a lot. Here, I just listened to that episode.
But what you're saying is on par with that.
I know it. I do know, and it was a very hard time for the both of us. And we came, he was 15 years older than me, and I told it, and it was heartfelt because I really loved him. But at the same time, I have my family is very knit together, especially with children. And I told him, I was like, I can't. I told him if I was a little bit older or a little bit younger.
Well, I'm gonna just tell you, I'm gonna add. I mean, you see, man, karma's a bitch. How do you know you're gonna be able to carry children to term?
Facts.
Exactly. I know. I do know that. Facts. It is, and it is.
But I'm asking because I'm curious because
I'm not saying you did, baby. But that womb may be a cemetery right now. A lot of ladies, and it's not to curse anyone, but a lot of you ladies, you do the whole, when you should have been a mother, you're just a mother of children that are no longer here. Then when you find the one, supposedly, you can't carry to term. And then woe is me once again. So it's just some shit to think about, man. But just imagine a man doing this to a woman, like what Kevin is saying.
We often hear about how bad men are in marriage and what we don't do. But see, we don't hear stories like we hear on my show. And the matter of fact way you women talk about, I left him specifically because he could not have children. You mean your own natural children? Because if you want children, everybody wants to have their own children, but he can't. He could adopt. So he was infertile.
No, that was the whole thing. It didn't just happen all of a sudden we get this diagnosis and it happened. It gradually happened over a 9-10 month period. And I told him when I told him I was going to file, I told him it's because he didn't give me any alternative.
He didn't give, ma'am, hold on. What do you mean he didn't give you any alternatives? What does that mean?
No, because adoption or
Why did he need to give you that alternative?
No, because he never talked about it. Did you
ever talk about it?
Yeah, we would have open conversations about it.
Hold on. Don't calm down.
I know, my heart's beating fast.
You're putting, ma'am, I'm just telling you how I'm hearing you.
I know.
I don't know if you know how crazy you sound.
And I think that she knows that she can get pregnant. And she's almost certain. And I'll just leave it at that.
Didn't do anything. You're a grown motherfucking woman.
That's right.
Did you go to your husband and say, well, hey, honey, what about adoption?
I did.
And what did he say?
No.
He said he did not want to adopt children.
That's what he said.
Based upon what?
He didn't feel like that was just a route he went. And then...
This adoption, was this before or after you guys started talking about divorce?
This was right before.
Okay. And he has 3 children.
He does.
Well, ma'am, you make your bed, you lie in it. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm gonna just tell you, ma'am. Any man with character hearing this,
It was terrible.
well, it's still terrible. Any man with character hearing this, you just got to know. Don't be surprised if this turns me completely off. Because even the way you're talking about it right now, it's so matter of fact, and it's kind of like, well, you know, he didn't do this, he didn't do that, and my family is this, my family is that. You know, have you ever tested positive on a pregnancy test?
Of course.
Of course, I don't. What do you mean, of course?
Well, I have when I was younger.
Okay, did you terminate?
No, it didn't.
Okay.
It didn't go into the second trimester.
So, ma'am, see where I'm going with this? How do you know that you can? If you miscarry,
She just assumed that she can. She miscarried. So, I mean, that's from personal experience, and I know the women that are watching this as well. That's a woman's nightmare. Especially, obviously, what is it? If you make it to the second trimester, you're kind of like in the clear for the most part. But any woman who has miscarried or have multiple miscarriages, that would definitely be a concern the next time around. It's like hoping that you make it to that point and nothing happens. So for her, it's very weird for someone who's lost a child and then to have I understand she wants a child. I get it. But to be that callous and cold, and you probably say, well, he's being callous and cold. He's got his kids. You married a man with kids though. So it's probably not so much of a big deal. I don't know the conversations at the end of the day, but it's really, he's already got kids, and you're probably like, I want one. But once again, what Kevin said, who knows? You may be a barren woman yourself.
how do you know you can? How do you know even if he was shooting the club up, how do you know you can carry a child?
Well, no, because we went through the whole process, because after we were married for like 3 years, and after
I'm talking about the first. You said you've been pregnant, but you lost the child. The pregnancy wasn't. You didn't have a child.
Correct.
You did not self-delete. You did not terminate.
Correct.
So that means there was, for lack of a better word, a miscarriage.
Correct. An early one.
Okay, then how do you know that you can carry?
Right.
Well, I mean, I don't have any medical proof, but from like my family, I would like everybody in my family, they kind of like carry even on into like their 30s. So like
and I'm not trying to be negative, but that doesn't mean anything. You could be that one child. I know of families like that where there may be one or maybe two that aren't able to carry a child. But she's confident.
What I'm trying to get you to look at is, ma'am, ultimately, and I'm not wishing that upon you, but I believe that the universe works. It's kind of like, that's cold.
it was cold.
It is cold. And now, and what you're basically saying is, hey, I want to get out here and find somebody else to marry so I can have my own kids. Okay, if you're saying your ex-husband didn't want to adopt, all right, fine. Keep it moving. Let's get off this subject. But I'm going to just tell you, the way you told that story, so unfeeling. And so, matter of fact, if I had anybody around you, I would tell them to run. Because
and giggling and shit.
Because what you're saying, ma'am, it's not okay. And you don't sound like you have one iota of care about it. It's like, fuck it.
I do.
I want these babies.
I do. Like I said, I'm a little nervous right now.
Okay, ma'am, I need you to understand. You can say you do, but I'm telling you how the world, me and everybody else, is likely experiencing. And that's what you ladies need to understand. Doesn't matter what you say, it matters how it impacts somebody else.
Right.
So, you want to get married, have kids, and you're ready to shoot your shot. At what time frame do you want to be married?
Within the next 2 years.
Are you dating anybody seriously right now?
I am seeing somebody.
Are you dating anybody seriously towards marriage?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so how long you guys been together?
We've been together for 5 months.
5 months. All right. So,
isn't this a show about shooting your shot? Hold on. What is this show about? Modern women have to make a move, but you're 5 months in, baby? Okay.
I'm confused. Then why are you? Because this program is really about like shooting your shot and approaching new men. But if you already got it, man, why are you here? Did you say you're serious?
Because I wanted to. I'm not gonna lie. I never knew how to get onto your show, and I just kind of jumped on there. But once you do shoot your shot, like I do, like I said, I do have.
This woman's a weirdo. Baby, if you're watching this, I said it. You're a freak for attention. I didn't know how to get on your show. You've been in a serious relationship for 5 months. You didn't care what the topic was. You're going to get your heart's beating fast. Who knows how long you've been waiting, how many sleepless nights you stayed up trying to get on Kevin's show. How serious is the relationship? And you're in a serious relationship, or supposed to be, for 5 months. But you're getting on something that you can't even relate to currently. But I have something to add. Let's hear it, Giggles.
Somebody. And it is going well.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to book a private session with you.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I hope you guys have had the conversation about marriage and what you want as far as outcomes. Does he have any children?
No.
So I gotta ask. This may sound crazy, but are you asking men to take fertility tests?
Is that bad?
I'm asking because, ma'am,
I haven't. But is that like?
You're cutting me off. I don't do that. I'm asking because if you're willing to divorce your husband because he...
That should be the first question you should ask. He's already, whether y'all using protection or not, and I'm assuming he's not. We don't know if you're on the pill or not at this point. But that should be the first. If you're sexually active in this relationship with him, that should be the first question that you should be asking, especially if you're dating with intention. The second part of this situation is, you see, guys, what I admire about Kevin, and this is any man that is in a position similar, high value, or is esteemed to where you have women waiting on you, as Kevin does, and he commands that respect to where they will wait, they will be quiet, they will not cut him off, and they are submissive in that aspect and don't give him any lip. Or they know that they won't be able to feed this attention monster that they have. So you see how she is, how these women are, and they won't even be like that with the man that they have at home or husband that they have at home. But they'll do that with Kevin. So that says a lot about them and the man at home, and it says a lot about Kevin. So I just wanted to point that out, how he just told her, don't cut me off. And I know he does that a lot, but just how she is and how she's basically taking direction and following direction in this aspect. So just think about that, guys, for a second. And you ladies, you think about that as well.
Was infertile. And then you say he didn't want to adopt. I'll just accept it, move on. But if you're willing to terminate your covenant with God and your husband, then that means you can't afford to have this happen again. Mm-hmm. Right?
Correct.
So how are you verifying that the men you're considering or talking about seriously are all have healthy or have can produce children? How are you verifying that with the men you're
You know, Mr. Samuel, you are a very, very smart man. And I haven't even thought about that part. But that is so important. And I think that is something that I'm going to bring up in conversation. And I'm going to make sure I do that beforehand.
Okay. But I want you to...
Is she not playing with a full deck? Is it just me? Is she not playing with a full deck? You got a divorce from, did she say 2 years? I can't remember how long she said she's been divorced. You just got a divorce from a man. You want to have kids. Unless you guys are just playing around for 5 months. You haven't once brought it up, especially if you're having unprotected sex, just in general. But you haven't once brought up having kids in 5 months. And whether he's able to do that or not because of this situation. You haven't talked about why you got divorced from your last husband with this guy after, I mean, it's 5 months. It's enough time. We're not talking about 2 weeks. We're not talking about a month. We're not talking about 2 months. We're talking about a 5-month relationship, and you said it was serious, and you haven't even brought it up. I'm glad you mentioned that. Kevin, you just made the light bulb go off in my head. You can't make this shit up, guys.
How old are you?
5'7".
Dress size?
I'm like a 9, 10. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a 9, 10.
So at 32 years old, your marriage market proposition is, hey, I've been married before. You didn't say anything about whether he was a good man or whatever. You said I divorced him because he couldn't make babies. And he didn't want to adopt. And it's that important to me. Cool. Everybody has their standard. No, man, just moving on. Everybody has their standard, that's fine. But you go into the marketplace and you're asking men who you think may be suitable candidates for you to produce a sperm sample.
That sounds so bad. It's a lot more character that involves. It's not just a sperm sample, because I could, it wouldn't be hard for me to just go out and get pregnant by anybody. So it's not.
No. But see, I get what you're saying now, but you divorced your husband because he couldn't have children. So you're basic, and I'm saying, well, fine. If you're going to leave one man, you got to know that every man you're possibly dealing with can produce children. So I want to know how that's supposed to work. Hey, before we even get serious, I need you to go ahead and take this cup.
Well, you know what?
Because I would love to.
See, if you got some active swimmers, if you got some Michael Phelps in the mist, you know what I'm saying? Or if you just got that low count, or if you just got them dead joints in the water, you know what I'm saying? Like, we need to see what's happening. But the only way to know is, on the job training. Let's do it. Whether you need that ring or not, who cares though, right? I know.
I would love to know, because here's the funny thing. I would love to know how this would happen in reverse. If I'm dating you and be like, hey, I want to have kids. So before I even take you out to Ruth Chris, I'm gonna need to go ahead and get your womb checked. I'm gonna need to get some of them eggs up out of you. But I need you to understand how crazy that would sound to the market.
Exactly.
How crazy that would sound. No, listen. This makes sense to you. But I'm talking about an open goddamn dating market.
Right.
Hi, on my Match.com, on my Plenty of Fish, or my Bumble, or my Tinder profile. Hey, I want to make sure to date me, I must have a semen sample.
That is so terrible.
Well, ma'am, that's why I was trying to make light of, because that's what you're really saying. I need to know that you can produce, and that's the other side. If you're willing to, because there are guys who may be like, okay, cool. You want to get an STD battery? Fine. If you're willing to pay for it, no problem. But you're going to have to produce the fact that you can carry it and because on the downside, I don't want to say that could happen. But what happens when you get married and all of a sudden you come back and it's like you can't again?
Right.
Should he divorce you?
If he didn't have any children, I would completely understand it.
Ooh,
I really would. If
then
he
why?
didn't,
So I don't understand. I don't understand what marriage means. Then there's nothing Christian about this. There's nothing spiritual about this. I mean, I understand the want to have children, but there's nothing. I'm trying to help you, man, but that's like, goddamn.
But you are helping. The fact that you even mentioned that about getting.
Why? I mean, I gotta ask, why are kids? Children are important, but why are children?
What's weird? Why did he have to mention that? Did that not cross your mind when he had you in the figure 6 in bed? When he had you over the balcony? When he had you in the tub, on the couch, on the washing machine, wherever? That hadn't crossed your mind once. I know it crossed his fucking mind. Anyway, man, this is crazy. This is weirdo syndrome.
That important. You're natural born children.
I'm the youngest of 6, and I'm the only one who doesn't have any kids. It is important, and my family is important.
Okay. Do you have any sisters?
I do.
How many?
4.
4 sisters and 1 brother? Mm-hmm. Where's the brother? Is he the oldest?
He's the second oldest.
Second oldest. So all 4 of your sisters are married?
Yes.
Is your brother married?
His wife, yes, he's married.
All right. So you're the baby, which problem's already spoiled. You used to get in your way. You've been married. You had a guy who was older than you. He had kids, but he couldn't. He didn't want to adopt. Fine. I'm just laying it out as the market, man. As the market, if you go into the market, that's what you're basically saying. Hey, having kids is important. So what I'm saying, man, is you better be as sure as possible that you can carry children to term.
I'm gonna take what you're saying very, very serious, and I'm gonna get that information like from a medical professional.
So,
and I'm going.
So then, after the ability to produce children, what's number 2 on the list? And what's next on the list of requirements for men?
Well, number 2, that's a requirement just for me in general. But are you talking about like my type of men, the type of?
Well,
men
yeah, because ultimately, that there's so many things that go wrong in human reproduction. I mean, see, today because you guys are so spoiled. People used to have 8 and 10 children because infant mortality rates were high. Children mortality rates were high. And you needed multiple hands. And then women, having a child is the most dangerous thing any woman can do. But women today automatically assume that just because you get pregnant, you're going to carry a child, it's all going to be healthy and it's all going to work out to the point to where it's a foregone conclusion. Cool. So if having a kid is that important, you got to be judging. That has to be one of the top criteria you picking a man based upon. What's some other stuff? Right.
Other stuff would be like his commitment, how he handles responsibility, his compassion towards family.
His commitment to what?
His commitment, just in general, just a strong commitment for whatever he believes in.
What do you mean? You could be committed to your football team. You could believe in a football.
You're right. And then, have you ever seen?
Are you referring to purpose, baby? He has purpose. He has direction, and he's motivated towards it. Is that what you mean? Just purpose? And I hope you're describing your guy that you're with right now, because it just doesn't sound like it's too serious. You're on the phone. It's late night. You're on the phone with Kevin Samuels.
Somebody who's committed to their football team, they go all out for it. They lose sleep over it. They're out just somebody with like a strong sense of commitment and a strong sense of purpose. Somebody who knows exactly what it is that they want and that they're very passionate about getting it.
I don't think you get it.
But
Because that's what you're supposed to have when you enter into a covenant marriage. It's selfish.
It was so terrible. Like,
what you said, ma'am? No, ma'am. See, when all I do is I have the conversation. You understand the difference between right and wrong, a commitment. If they just saying commitment, sense of family. Well, family, ma'am, you had a family. You had a husband and you had stepchildren.
I know it.
So what?
They were grown. My brother and my father tell me this. Like, when people hear that story,
childish. Mr. Whoever raised you and your 6 siblings, spoiled ass kid right here. Childish.
Okay.
It's true, ma'am. It's childish.
I know it's true. I do know it's true.
And man,
I watch your content a lot, and like.
So if you had a son,
reality.
If you had a son, you would want him to run into a woman who treated men like you? Yes or no? Your son marries a woman. Your son marries a woman, and his wife comes and says, "Well, I'm gonna leave you because you can't have kids." You'd say, "All right."
No, because I would want him to be with somebody a little bit more empathetic than that.
Right.
It is. I'm not. It is. I'm. Like I said.
I'm asking seriously. And man, it's not really a value judgment as much as I'm just trying to hold a mirror up to you because you say the shit you say to people around you, and they let you believe this stuff. I'm telling you, somebody who got no dog in the fight. What you immediately said.
And a lot of times, you need to have friends or people around you that are bone cold honest. If you just got enablers that are going to agree with you regardless. I just don't want to see you, and you ran this by a few people. It's like, yeah, get rid of that motherfucker. Get him out of here. He's sterile. Get him out of here. And you just giggling about the shit, like, yo.
It was almost like somebody hit the DJ. What?
Because I was just excited to talk to you.
Well, but you said I had no problem with it. Fuck that nigga. His dick didn't work. I'm sorry. Whatever, man. He had kids and he had his babies. I want my babies. But then you turn around and say, I got pregnant, but I couldn't have that one baby. I'm like, so how do you know you can have them? You don't know any of this stuff, and it's supposed to mean more with the man you're with than the outcomes. The outcomes are the family is you and him and what y'all make. But it was like, I couldn't have what I wanted. Spoiled ass baby child. It's what I wanted. I want my own kids. And I hope it works out for you. But the way you've told this situation, that's why I'm like, this is why I think therapy's so good. So you can talk about this stuff.
I've been in therapy. I go to therapy twice a month, and I have been for 4 years. Like
4 years. 4 years.
I have been. Yes, I have been.
Why? Are you on medication?
No.
Ma'am, you don't be in therapy for 4 years. You're supposed to graduate from therapy.
Oh yeah. Well, it's kind of like it goes in. I graduated from the.
This girl is all over the place, man. She be a fun girl though. I bet you have a good time with her. You know what I'm saying? She's all over the place though. You know, that dude, hopefully, bro, Jessica Nicole, I know somebody gonna look you up, or if y'all know her, y'all comment below, man. You know, I'll go look her up after the fact and see what's happening with you. But you hearing all this shit right here. Your girl, just imagine, like a lot of y'all ladies be up here, and they just be up here just saying all kind of shit, and you gotta like, especially if they're on social media, which most of these women are on social media. And you gotta hear about this shit like, your woman is like this, she's spilling all the tea, like she's saying this, and this, like, yo, you don't got a muzzle on that shit? Like, what's happening? Sheesh. She's so excited to talk to Kevin.
Personal part, and then it goes into like it's a group thing with other women, and I just like to go.
Okay, well, I'm gonna tell you right now, I hope you're prepared to be judged as harshly as you judge your husband. Because, man, jokingly or not, that was horrible. That's just bad. It's just bad, man. It's just bad. It's just bad, Jessica. It's just bad. It's just bad. I mean, but see, and I'm gonna tell you why I'm focusing on so much. Because you modern women are so goddamn focused on getting what the fuck you want. You don't care about anybody else except you. It's you above everybody else. So I hope you are prepared to live in a world that is as cold as you are. Mm-hmm. I don't want to live in a world like that, to where you said you would want somebody to have empathy for your son, but you had no empathy for that mother's son. I know there's more to it than that, but I'm just saying. Just, you got to consider, well, anyway.
No, I appreciate it. I
like, this is motherfucking lost cause. Your ass, you just not getting it. You're not getting it, baby. You're not getting it. Let's look her up in 2 years. Let's do a follow-up.
All right, Deanna, how are you? I'm going to respond.
It's God's beat maker.
And I don't know. I will put a light in the sky for the G's that done turn memory from go. Blessings we send to the ghetto youth them.